So I need to head over to Pahrump to resupply on groceries. It could be at least 10 to 12 days until I get to Lone Pine. I should be able to resupply in Furnace Creek and Betty, but usually pretty expensive. So I'm going to come back down along the base of the Nupa Range and around to Charleston View and into Death Valley. Leaving Las Vegas behind, it's amazing how quickly the transition to wilderness happens. I never plan out where I'll sleep at night, but in the desert it's really easy to find a spot. A lot of it is public BLM land, and nearly every night I could hear the coyotes calling. And since it was winter, it was nice that I didn't have to worry about rattlesnakes or spiders. Across this west side road, you really get a sense of scale of how vast, how huge the Death Valley is. Can't imagine how scary it would have been for John Manley and the 49ers being lost out here, trying to find a shortcut across. Wow. It's always confusing waking up in a new place every day. Shocking too. I'm just so used to the routine of normal daily life. Yeah, the normal daily life of working 6 days a week with no time to do anything else. It's no wonder I keep quitting my jobs. Not a lot of employers seem to understand the importance of freedom. This is Echo Canyon Road. I actually slept just over there on my last tour, but there's no way I was going to bike up this thing. Today, though, is a different story. I only met a small number of people driving on these roads, and they're also friendly and they actually stop to chat. I think that riding on highways is lonelier because no one notices you or cares. They're more annoyed that some bicycle's blocking the way. This was like experiencing all the seasons in one day. When I reached the pass, I was just soaking wet and cold. But half an hour later, I was back down in the valley and it was summertime again. So I think what happened was I was coming down the final section of the Titus Canyon Road, and this bottle was just rattling around inside my pannier, and it sprung a leak. I noticed at the end of the day that this bag was just full of water. Last night was a cold one, probably the coldest since Red Rock Canyon. But my water bottle is a chunk of ice. But there are some warm springs up ahead, so I might have to take a dip. If you aren't following along the length of the valley, it means you're going up or down. By the time I reached the Cerro Gordo, my legs were just finished. But I realized it's not a race, it's more about experiencing what's around you. But if there was a trophy at the end of the day, I'd have to say that it's the hamburger and a beer that's just over the horizon. Pretty good spot. I think I'll have to spend the night here. the original road that led down into Death Valley. It was a toll road. It would have cost me $2 back in 1927 to ride this. People's reaction to the fat bike was always entertaining. It really drew a lot of attention. A lot of people thought there had to be an engine on there or something, but everyone was just blown away by how big the tires were. This is the Barker Ranch, and it became infamous in 1969 when Charles Manson was captured here. This is Stella's cabin. It was built about 150 years ago by Mormon settlers, and the last occupant was Stella Anderson. She lived here up until the late 1970s, I think. A little bit nicer, a lot nicer person than Charles Manson, I think. I tried to spend the night in there, but too many mice, completely out of control. find walking is just too slow and driving is too fast. But without the fat bike, I definitely would have been walking here. a fixer-upper. I see potential though. These little chunks are laying all over the road. No matter how close I watch, I end up hitting them. This is flat tire number 6, and I don't have any more patches, so I'm gonna have to go with my spare tube. I'll reach a Walmart tomorrow, so hopefully they have some patches in stock. When I saw this road on the map, I figured it'd just be a long climb up a wash to a mountain pass, but it turns out it's going around these mountains. It's just traversing all these washes like a roller coaster. Absolutely kicking the shit right out of me. Step 1, find water source. Step 2, do laundry. I just kind of patched together all these squiggly lines on the map, and I'm hoping for the best. Right now I'm trying to get over to a little town called Baghdad before Chino Valley and Sedona. But anyways, today I had to come through this little place called Planet Ranch. And when I got there, it was closed off, gated, no trespassing. But anyways, the Arizona Fish and Game people were there. And apparently, today's the day that it's open to the public. They're putting up all these signs and kiosks. I don't know if it's a seasonal opening or permanent, but they're swinging the gates open, and I couldn't have timed that any better. Google Maps and Garmin both say that this is a through road. I don't have a whole lot of water to be messing around like this, but I guess I'll go for it. Yeah, I could probably scooch around this, but I think this gate looks like these people mean business. So I'm gonna have to find a different way somehow. At this point I was wandering out of the desert and onto the Colorado Plateau. Just a completely different climate that I wasn't equipped for. The cold, rainy weather is one of the hardest things to deal with. And as I went, road closures and snowstorms were just right behind me. If I was to do this route again this time of year, I'd probably go down the Joshua Tree instead. way. I'm up at about 7,300 feet tonight. It's gonna be cold. Williams is only a short distance away. I was tempted to get a hotel room, but I told myself if I could find some firewood, I'd stay here. So it should be cozy. I kept having this dream that I was sleeping in my backyard. I'd wake up and I think I just have to go inside to warm up. But it's negative 16 right now. I need to get down to Sedona today. I don't want to go through this again. My sleeping bag's a negative 10. It's doable, but it's not enjoyable. Off in the distance is Sedona. I came from there this morning. I also came through Cottonwood. Here comes the storm. Gonna hunker down now. Since it was winter, the days were just so short. Usually by 6 p.m. I'd be in my tent. It took a lot of patience, sometimes just waiting for the sun to rise. It's unbelievable, but the odd time I'd have the temptation to sleep in. So I've just been working my way around these hills. My bike's parked down there somewhere. I gotta continue on out through this valley. It's all part of the Kofa Reserve, even those mountains in the distance. I gotta cross those to get to Yuma. So today I had to head over to the Marine Corps Air Station in Yuma and get a special permit to come out here on the Goldwater Range. It's a little bit scary out here. There's unexploded munitions. There's a blinding laser zone over there. So you got to pick the right roads. Right now I'm headed for the Fortuna mine, and this is the last chapter in this tour. I'm going to spend about 5 days out here, then meet up with family on Highway 85. So all the rainwater comes down these mountains and pools up in a series of rocks and drips down to the desert floor. It's called the high tanks. I'm looking down here on the El Camino del Diablo now. Heads way out there to the Cabeza Prieta, then the Oregon Pipe. That's where I'm headed. little snail shell.